Hello, I am back. It's been a couple weeks. You might notice my voice is a little hoarse. I will give you a quick personal update, and then I'm really excited to jump into what I have to share today. If you're anything like me, you don't have nuts in the house very often. They're expensive, they go rancid easily. They're kind of a hassle a lot of times. So what I want to share with you is how to make cheaper nut milk or cheaper milks at home that don't have preservatives and additives and all that stuff like you get when you go shopping at the store, and how to make herbal teas as well. So the reason I'm sharing this is because next week we are doing a 5-day vegan jumpstart, and nut milks and teas are on the menu, and I wanted to just give you some tips on how to incorporate those into your meal prep so you don't get overwhelmed or feel like you can't do it. If you have any questions about the upcoming challenge or jumpstart, let me know and I will answer there. I'm just gonna quickly share on my phone in a couple groups and then we will get started, if I can find it. Here we go. So I missed last week's live, and I will tell you why in 1 second. Okay, there we go. So that's done. Turn that off. All right, so when we talked 2 weeks ago, my grandma had fallen ill. So I booked flights that day and did some food prep live with you on what I was gonna take traveling for Violet and myself. I booked my flights. We showed up at the airport the next morning with everything ready to go, and our flight was unfortunately canceled, which is really common here due to weather. So we got rebooked for the next day. So we came back home and rearranged, and Violet had eaten all our snacks that we packed, so we packed another round of travel food, and then we went to bed, and overnight my grandma had passed away. So I was really, really sad that I missed saying a final goodbye to her, but I did get to FaceTime with her and my mom, which was really nice. And she wasn't in a state anyways, consciously, where she could acknowledge that I was there. So I made peace with it and was okay with it. But because of that darn canceled flight, I didn't make it. So we showed up the next morning and that flight got canceled too, but we luckily got redirected and finally made it home to Saskatchewan that evening. And it was quite stressful with a toddler and being now 28 weeks pregnant. But we got there and spent 7 days in Saskatchewan with family, and we had a funeral for my grandma. She didn't actually want a funeral, so we had a family gathering for her. And it was a really great week. But we were around sick people all week. My immune system is suppressed due to being pregnant. I'm not used to being around people and traveling and being out of our environment. So I could feel my body fighting something off during the week. And then getting home was another huge hassle. And we had more canceled flights. We got stuck in Vancouver, and then we ended up rerouting to Kelowna, where my sister-in-law lives, and luckily she put us up for the night and picked us up. And then Neil had to drive 4 hours to come pick us up. And then the next day we drove 4 hours home. So we were a day and a half late getting home. And then of course when I got here I just crashed, and everything came, and I got a cold, which I never get. So that was really hard on me because I'm just not used to dealing with that kind of thing. But I rested up for a couple days and I'm totally feeling better. I have energy again, just I have a bit of a hoarse voice and I'm still working a few things out of my system. So that's my personal update. I'm back in the groove. Next week is the Vegan Jumpstart, and I'm back going to get my groceries today for that after I do this Facebook Live. And I might actually pop on probably on Sunday to do some prep in that group. So if you sign up, we have a private Facebook group, and you can catch me live again on Sunday doing that. But today what we're gonna be doing is making some cheap milks. So I don't know if you've ever tried oat milk before or even heard of it, but it is probably the easiest milk to make. It's really cheap because you can get oat for dirt cheap. Make sure you get organic because they are commonly contaminated with glyphosate or Roundup, which isn't great for our health. So getting organic oats is ideal. And I'm gonna make hemp seed milk as well and show you how I make herbal tea in bulk. So these are the oats I used. I want to get a quick look. I used thick oats, but you could also use whatever you have, quick oats. You can soak them overnight, or you can, I just soaked mine this morning because I forgot to do it last night. So I soaked them, drained them, and rinsed them. And I did a cup of oats. And they soaked for, I would say, I don't know, 3 hours this morning. 3 to 4 hours is good. And then I'm gonna pour just under 4 cups of water in my blender. I like it to hit 1 liter with the oats already in it. I find that works the best. And then you can optionally add a date or two, some sea salt, or some cinnamon, or turmeric, or cocoa powder, or anything else that you would like to season it. Excuse me. Oh, so sorry about my voice. It's so annoying. To season it, or you can just leave it plain as is. If you're cooking with the milk, I would just leave it as is. Don't add anything. You could maybe add a pinch of salt. If you're using it for chia pudding or overnight oats or like a cereal or something that you want a little bit of sweetness, then adding a date is definitely ideal. So I'm gonna add just a little pinch of salt to mine. And that's it. And then I'm gonna blend it up and strain it. And that's how you make oat milk. So the reason, I just wanna quickly chat about, like I said, I don't regularly have nuts in my house. I find they go rancid all the time, and I hate keeping them in the freezer because then they have that weird freezer taste. So sometimes I have cashews or almonds if I can get them on sale, but it's not something I keep around regularly, and sometimes that used to make me avoid making homemade nut milks because I never had them and it was expensive just to go buy them on a whim. So I found alternatives. I make seed milks a lot. I make pumpkin seed milk, sunflower seed milk, sesame seed milk. I really like to mix sesame into things, and they all have really great health benefits to them. Sesame is really high in iron and calcium. Oats are really good if you're a nursing mother or if you are trying to eat a little bit of a lower fat diet. They also just make a really cream smooth, yummy milk. Okay, I'm gonna do this and get my voice back on track, have a sip of water, and I'll show you the final product. So I'm just gonna mute my microphone so you don't have to listen to the blender for 1 second. Okay, so that was quick, just a quick blend. It takes no effort at all to do this. I just want to make sure my sound's working. I'm gonna push the button. If you can't hear me, let me know. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So I can post the benefits of oat milk because I have a little bit of pregnancy brain right now and it's not just kind of popping into my head, but oats are rich in a lot of really amazing nutrients. So I use a nut milk bag for doing homemade milks. It's a lot easier than cheesecloth. Thanks, Maya. I'm glad you can hear me. Appreciate that. Okay, so Oats are naturally, they get gelatinous, so when you make oatmeal, I'm sure you know it gets nice and thick. So they are a little bit goopy, but I find the milk lasts quite well. And if it's too slimy, you could strain it, put a little bit of water it down if you want. But if you're making overnight oats or chia pudding or anything like that, the goopiness definitely helps. So get that all strained up. I will feed my pigs the leftover oats there. I'm just gonna rinse my hand. So that took a couple minutes. If you remember to soak. So there you go, a liter of fresh oat milk that has nothing added to it except a pinch of salt. And it'll last in your fridge for 2 to 3 days. Sometimes you can get away with 4. I find oat milk kind of separates and doesn't last as well, but I cook with it all the time and I use it quite regularly because, like I said, I always have oats on hand. So it just is something that's really easy for me to do. And then I'm also going to make a hemp milk. I love hemp milk because it's high in omegas. It tastes good. It's something that I actually usually crave when I'm pregnant. I really crave chocolate hemp milk. So I make it quite often with some dates or a little bit of maple syrup. And it's just a nice kind of craving buster when I need something a little more hearty during this stage of life. So if you're interested, I can make that, or if not, you kind of get the hint. Use about, it's more expensive for sure than oat milk because hemp seeds aren't that cheap, but it is really, really nutrient dense and nutrient rich, and you don't need a lot of it. So you could half the recipe, use a half a cup of hemp seeds and 2 cups of water, and have that just to drink as a treat. And like I said, you can do soaked pumpkin seeds, soaked sunflower seeds, soaked sesame seeds, whatever stuff you have on hand. Don't be scared to try it, mix and match, and use different blends of different things. I have tried flax milk because there is a commercially made flax milk out there, and I failed miserably. It's just too gloopy and gelatinous. It doesn't strain. It's really frustrating. So if you have any tips on that, you can let me know, but I have not had success with flax milk. I do make coconut milk. I had a roll where I was making coconut milk all the time. What I do with that is, take desiccated, unsweetened coconut, and you need to soak it with like boiling water or hot water, not quite boiling, but hot water, and soak it for quite a long time in order for the fats to release and for it to soften up so you can actually get a good milk out of it. If you just throw it in the blender like this, it's pretty watery and not very good. So what I find is that when I soak it for a long time and make it, it works out really well. And coconut milk, yeah, it's great to have on hand for curries or things like that, or adding it to soups. But anyways, what else do I want to say? So it's nice to always have a milk in your fridge so you don't have to depend on buying it at the store, and so you can make quick, easy recipes. And like I said, if I have some that's kind of just sitting there not being used, I'll just throw chia seeds in it with a little maple syrup or some date sugar or something like that, or just frozen fruit. Like what I really like to do is homemade milk with frozen blackberries or strawberries, but blackberries are usually my favorite, but you can do blueberries, whatever you want. And chia seeds, shake it up, put it in the fridge overnight, and I always do it with my nut milks that, you know, are starting to get on their last legs, and then eat that for breakfast in the morning or a snack the next day, and it works really well. So they rarely go to waste. You can add them to smoothies. You know, it's so versatile and so nice to have on hand, and so much healthier than buying store-bought. So again, if you're just tuning in, the reason I'm making these is because we have a jumpstart, a 5-day vegan jumpstart starting next Monday. And nut milks are on the menu. And I just wanted to give you some alternatives so you didn't get intimidated or scared off by needing those on hand. I do want to also quickly talk about teas. So I'm not going to make hemp milk because you saw the process. I don't want to waste your time. But we will make Neil a tea for himself because I already have mine for today. So this is my pregnancy tea infusion, which I can briefly talk about. But we have herbal teas on the menu for the week as a nightcap or for something to help you wind down at night. I don't encourage drinking coffee or caffeinated beverages. Decaf herbal teas are the best. They provide a lot of minerals and nutrients and can help you manage your mood and health. Excuse me, sorry, I'm just getting over a little bit of a bug after traveling. So Neil has a blend here that was locally created. It has astragalus root, ashwagandha, 𝗪𝗪𝗃, rhodiola, and licorice root. So it's a root blend. It's called Adapt. It's good for your adrenal glands. And he finds he feels so much better when he incorporates these into his smoothies. The licorice root gives it a and the rhodiola give it like a very sweet flavor. It's almost creamy. So he really enjoys it in his smoothies. So I brew him some up every couple days and he uses it in his smoothie blends. I don't have the jar I usually use, but we'll just use a mason jar. So here's what it looks like. It's just a bunch of dried roots. So what we like to do to save money and time, instead of buying like tea bags like this, which are totally fine, you can do, just make sure you're getting an organic one. And there's been some studies and research done that tea bags aren't the healthiest for us and there can be additives and stuff. So we try to do loose leaf teas when we can, but in a pinch you can definitely do a bag tea like this. So if that's all you have on hand, that's great, but I'm just gonna quickly show you how we make our loose teas. So I'm gonna pour his, sorry, a little mess, mason jar mess going on. I usually do his blend and then I add, this one's nettle and raspberry leaf and alfalfa, oat straw, so totally safe for men and women. I add a little bit of that just to up the mineral profile for him. And then I almost boiled some water, didn't quite let it come to a boil. Fill that up and let it infuse for about 12 hours. And so if you're just making a quick tea, you can let it steep for a couple minutes and drink it, and that's totally fine. If you let it infuse like overnight, you're gonna get a lot more minerals and a lot more nutrition out of the herbs that you're using. So we like to do infusions instead of steeped teas, but it's completely up to you. Obviously the taste is gonna be a lot more deep when you're doing an infusion. It's gonna be a little more strong and robust. So you'll have to kind of play around with the time that you steep it for to kind of suit your needs. So like I said, the tea I have is from Organic Matters. It has organic nettle, red raspberry leaf, oat straw, alfalfa, and rose hip. Really good for pregnant mamas, and it has a little bit of a sour, lemony taste to it. I never sweeten it or add anything to it except for this tea, and it goes down really smooth and really good. So if you're after something as trying to increase your iron, your calcium, your magnesium, anything like that, the herbal infusions are a great avenue to go. They're going to be a lot more absorbable than taking a supplement. So that's what we like to do in our house. So I just put that on the windowsill and it will steep put these in the cupboard, store our oat milk in the fridge, wash my blenders out. Pretty simple stuff, but once you have the, it's easy once you have what you need on hand. Having a nut milk bag is crucial because straining through a sieve like this or cheesecloth, it just gets old, it takes forever, it's messy. So invest in a nut milk bag. You can get them on Amazon or lots of health food stores carry them. I've had mine for years and years and it still works like a charm. I rinse it with cold water, turn it inside out and let it air dry. And every once in a while I'll wash it with a little bit of non-toxic soap if I do something that kind of clogs the pores a little bit. But I strain my juices with it every single day, my green juices through it, and my milks, and anything else that needs to be strained works really well with that. And yeah, so I just want to give you a few more, share a little bit more about this upcoming Jumpstart with you and double check we don't have any questions coming in. So it's last Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can register for the Jumpstart. It's free. It starts on Monday, goes to Friday. It includes 4 recipes a day. You can do 1 or all 4. It's completely up to you. There's a full shopping list and the recipes are emailed to you in advance. And then I'll give you an option to upgrade to get the full 5-day recipes ahead of time on Monday. And I'll be in the group all week. There's a private Facebook group. Christina and I will be in there engaging, posting our versions of the recipes, answering questions, helping anybody anyone out. The purpose is to encourage you to eat more plant-based, to get familiar and comfortable with using plant-based whole food ingredients, following grounded recipes, and not being afraid to add them to your life and your family's lifestyle. It's, the biggest hurdle so many people have when trying to get on board is they get overwhelmed, and it's so easy just to fall back into old patterns and habits. And especially when you have a family, I know it's easy just to cook what they like. And when you try new things, it's such a gamble. So the purpose of this challenge is to kind of take you out of your comfort zone a little bit and try some new things. If you have a really stubborn family, I encourage you to just add these recipes as side dishes, take them through the menu plan, get them to pick a couple that they would be willing to try. Lead by example with yourself. The plan, I think most of the recipes serve 1, and then the dinner is 2 to 4. I have to double check. But it's very easy to do. If you already eat quite healthy or whole food based style of eating, you're gonna have a lot of the pantry staples already. So you'll basically just need to get the produce from the store. Like for myself, I always have the frozen items. I always have the pantry items on hand because I'm using them constantly, and the spices and herbs and things like that. It's just some of the fresh produce that I need to stock up on that are needed for the recipes. And yeah, it's really fun because a group of people does it together and you get to see everyone's versions of what they're making and encourage each other. I'm gonna have some prizes at the end, some giveaways. It's really fun to just even follow along with, even if you're not ready to fully jump in with trying the recipes. Join the group and get some motivation and inspiration to start to give it a try. And like I said, I'm gonna go live on Sunday in the group to do some prep, how we prep for the week and prep for Monday, and just give some tips on how to get started and ready. If you already eat vegan or plant-based, definitely sign up because I have new recipes coming. And like I said, it's just nice to be around like-minded people that are eating the same as you for a week. It's always fun and encouraging. And yeah, it's for anybody, beginner to advanced. It doesn't matter. It's just about immersing yourself in this lifestyle, giving it a go and doing the best you can, and having some support along the way. I've always felt my mission here and my goal with Grounded Nutrition is to kind of bridge that gap between the old style of eating, like so many of us were raised in or are still continuing to do, and then there's, you know, the extremists out there, if you want to call them that really take things to the next level, and it can be really hard to find a middle ground that works for you and your family. So now that I have a growing family, I'm understanding how crucial it is to find the proper habits so everybody can kind of thrive and feel their best. And like I said, the odd time you catch a bug, which I did. Violet fortunately didn't. She felt a little under the weather the first night we got home and then was completely back to herself the next day. I think I would attribute that to her healthy diet and breast milk. And for myself, I'm just a depleted, tired mom that's pregnant. I was stressed. I lost my grandma. I had way too much on my plate. I didn't even have really the time to process everything. And like usual, I took the brunt of it all. So I had a couple days where I was down and out, but it was nice to rest and relax the best I could while having a toddler to look after and have work to do and get ready for this jumpstart. But anyways, it was really nice to see you again this week. I will be back next Friday with more prep. That will be the end of the jumpstart. So I'll be talking about how to move forward and what recipes I'll be eating the following week. If you have any questions or you have any foods that you would like to see me prepare live, let me know. I'd be really happy to do that for you. I really enjoy just connecting with you this way and keeping you up to date with all things grounded and this lifestyle, and it's been really fun to reconnect this way. So I plan to continue doing it. I have a baby due at the end of January or beginning of February, so I'll probably take a few weeks off then. But my family's got to eat, and I'm gonna, when Violet was a week old, I was back in the kitchen making green juice on my stool and you know, making whole foods from scratch to feed my family after my parents been home after pampering us for a week. So I'm sure it'll be the same next time. And these lives are so nice to just set up because they're quick and easy and just give you a glimpse into my real life. But anyways, I'll stop rambling, and I just wanted to say the link is there to sign up for the Jumpstart if you haven't already done that. And I hope you join me. I'm really excited to take you through this new challenge, and I will see you in the private Facebook group, and I'll be back here next Friday with another Facebook Live. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. I hope you try oat milk. Okay, bye.